Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review, and surprise, surprise, I have some Wave 2 Titans Return figures. Specifically the Wave 2 Titan Masters. Remember how excited we were in Wave 1? That it was all new molds and this, that, and the other thing? Yeah, that's stopping right now because some of the vehicles are being reused. But starting us off is Skye Tread, who you would probably know better as the Duocon Flywheels, aka the one I didn't have as a kid. Basically, this is a repaint of Terrible's tank, which is also going to be reused for an entirely different character in Japan, but it does have that brown and red accents of the original Duocon. As you can see, it works the same way with the Titan Master sitting in tank mode, but also, as we know, this is a triple changer, so it'll go from this to this, which is its flight mode. I really do like this tank mold because I like the double barrels, and I like that it's like a little hover tank, and even when it's flying, you can still have the barrels come down, like coming in for a ground attack like that. Now, of course, these are also a weapon mode, which, we'll just flip up the wings here, coming underneath, and there you go, knock the legs loose. But this is now. I originally just thought this was for larger figures, but as I've come to find out, these, as well as the weapons with the Deluxe Titan Masters and Voyagers, can be attached to the larger bases as weapon embankments, which we'll see at the end, which I think is kind of cool. So, that's about it for Skye Tread. We will now move on to the first new mold of this wave. And here's your G1 flashback for the day. It is Braun. Now, we haven't seen Braun in quite a while since a rather underrated Legends figure, back when Legends figures were Legion size. But this is Braun. Basically, this vehicle mode is some sort of like hover scooter. You got basically two blasters on either end, and if you notice, they are molded differently, which I think is a nice touch. There is actually more like a four-wheeled treaded vehicle mode, which we can get to. Just go ahead, remove the Titan Master right there. The pegs in. Go ahead, flip these panels in, just like so. Excuse me. Come on. Oh, that was tight. Flip this over. Now, the instructions say to flip up the front windshield before you attach the head. I have discovered that plugging the head in, and I'm just flipping the head up, plugging the head in before you flip up the windshield is a little bit easier. And you just slide it in, and you can push up here from the bottom, and it'll just slip through. And there you have the four-treaded mode. Now, I neglected to mention in the first Titan Masters, because I really didn't realize right away, that these Titan Masters are kind of color-coded to larger deluxe figures. For example, from Wave 1, Terrible lines up in terms of colors and paint matching Scourge identically. And then, and then of course you have, I'm blanking, anyway, that's the point. Like for example, with Skye Tread, that his colors are going to really match Chrome Dome, with the brown and all that. Now, looking at Braun and thinking of who's coming in that next wave, really, it's going to be kind of odd because you have Chrome Dome, Highbrow, Weird Wolf, and Mind Wipe. And I'm kind of figuring that Braun is meant to go with Weird Wolf, or maybe the soon upcoming Klauber is actually meant to go with Weird Wolf, because the greens don't match. I mean, this really, to me, looks best it would go with Hardhead, but who knows. But anyway, there is a weapon mode. Just from this position, flip the front treads out. You want to peg them together. And then in a cool little touch, push down on the head and pull down on the back here, and the handle will slide out. And to be honest, this is, to me, one of the better looking handguns of the Wave. It does peg together quite nicely. There is a little bit of a gap here in the front, but that is just normal because of where the tabs are placed. But that looks really cool. So, I just mentioned him now. Let's move on and take a look at Klauber. And here's Klauber, who, as we all know, is a repaint of Crash Bash with a new Titan Master, the new head. And the head, of course, being Grimlock. So they're kind of working in some G1 homages here. I don't know if that means down the line we'll have larger Titan Master bodies for these heads to plug into. But like I was saying, I kind of think that this is either meant to be with like Weird Wolf because of the yellow and the gunmetal and stuff, but this is an Autobot and he's a Decepticon. It just gets a little confused. I mean, the color matching is there, but I think in terms of groupings, it's a little off. But here he is in the winged animal mode. As we all know and remember, there is a triple changing component to this, that it will go from this to this, which is a little dinosaur T-Rex sort of monster type of thing that's supposed to look like Grimlock's G1 design, but really isn't. And of course, there is the weapons mode, which I actually think is kind of cool. You just go ahead, flip up the tail, bring down the legs here. They will peg into the sides, which I think is really handy, and flip out the handle, and there you have the little blaster. I mean, it's a little odd looking, but when you start to think that this is meant to go with like the Beast Decepticons, it kind of works a little better. So we'll now pause, and we'll get to the last new mold of the Wave, and my favorite of the Wave. And here we have Ape Face. Now, Ape Face is I'm really excited for. I actually had Ape Face and Snap Trap as kids. They were basically triple changing Decepticon headmasters. They had a vehicle mode, a beast mode, and then a robot mode. And what was interesting is that the headmasters were double headmasters, in that they could be the head for beast mode and for robot mode. Now, obviously, in this case, the Ape Face Titan Master is just the head for Ape Face, which we'll take a look at the heads in a moment. But the Gorilla mode is here, and this looks really cool. As you can see, the little Titan Master just rides in the back. Transforming it to jet mode is very easy. The arms will just swing down and peg into place, and then you flip out the head, the nose cone there, and that actually looks just like, or close to, the G1 jet. And then, of course, you just want to come in and slide the Titan Master in, and the leg will peg into place, and there you go. I do find it interesting that basically I'm seeing like repeated transformations where you'll either have the Titan Master standing in one robot mode or pegged in its head mode, and then for the other mode it will be like laying flat, and that, the ones where it lays flat like this, it stands, and then the ones where it's pegged in, it's more like a riding or flying position. I don't know if it's like they're just reused, it's a way to reuse certain parts in different colors. I mean, I'm really not seeing the inner frames looking similar, but there is a weapon mode, and it is very simple. You just want to go ahead and swing the arms out. I should mention the arms are on soft detents, so you'll know it'll sort of like a soft lock into position, and then of course come in behind, and there you get the handle for the blaster. I like the way this blaster looks. I think I like Braun's blaster mode a little more, but the colors do match up. I do really think this is going to be meant to be like Mindwipe's weapon partner. With that said, though, the Japanese version of Weird Wolf comes with this shell without the head redone in yellow, so who knows. But we'll just pause, and I'll come in and give you guys a nice look at the new heads. Okay, and just a quick look at the heads right up off the bat. Here's Ape Face. Now, originally, the robot mode head was actually printed on the back of the legs, and that this was the gorilla's head. It basically would be like that, but they did go ahead and just change that up, and it's just the robot face. Instead of being flat, there is like a lot more three-dimensional sculpted detail. Coming along here is flywheels, also known as Skye Tread, and very nice resemblance. Now, we know we're getting a Voyager Megatron, who's going to be a triple changer, with the rumor being it will be repainted into Blitzwing. Now, when I originally saw this, I thought this was Blitzwing. Depending on the colors, you might be able to use that head on the Blitzwing body and have a new version of flywheels. Moving along, we have Grimlock here, and this head is, of course, very, very close to its G1 look and style. You see the molded-in faceplate there. A lot of it is molded in. You do have some help from the gunmetal arms there. And then finally, we have, one of the original Transformer curmudgeons, Braun. And I think this is a nice head. I would have liked to have seen just a legend-sized Braun, and who knows, we might still see that figure, but if we can get a nice body to work as Braun, that'll be great too. I mean, I'll just be happy with the Titan Master. I mean, I'm just happy in general. So yeah, so those are the heads, and we'll just pause, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, and I just wanted to show what I had mentioned earlier, how these little Titan Master figures can be used as a weapon embankment on the larger figures. Basically the leader class basis. I'm using Blaster because, number one, that's the only leader figure I have, but also, if you look, if you really pay attention, Blaster has, because it's an all-new mold, they did mold in, extra posts and ports and stuff for these weapons to peg into. Now, I do want to mention that some of the handles are just a hair thicker than some of the posts here on the bottom. So you might want to be a little leery of a warpage, forcing the peg in. I know they have a tendency to flip back up. A peg like Braun, so that's actually frictions up and down, pushing it in might be a little difficult. But I gotta say, this really does make for a cool little station here. If you wanted to, you could remove the the Titan Masters, and peg them in on the ports, but all in all, I really think thus far my favorite figures from the Titans Return line are the Titan Masters. There's a hand feel with them that I think is a bit more enjoyable than with the deluxe figures and the leader figures. I think, and not just because they're smaller, they're a little simpler, but I think just the cross-play pattern really is at the heart here. I mean, I've gotten a couple of the deluxes now, and they're fun, but they're just not wowing me as much as these are. They're available at Big Bad Toy Store. I think they're unfortunately sold out right now. I got this from a third-party seller off of Facebook who was actually going to have them in quicker than Big Bad, so I was able, for roughly the same price, get them here sooner to you. Unfortunately, they haven't shown up on eBay. Well, they're on eBay for scalpers prices, but on terms of like Hasbro Toy Shop, Amazon, I know they're showing in brick and mortar stores at Walmart and Toys R Us. But that's just the Wave 1. Wave 2, I'm not really sure when they're supposed to show up in stores. And I think it's kind of interesting that we got the Wave 2 Titan Masters so far ahead of the Wave 2 Deluxes and Voyagers. But yeah, definitely, I think if you're really on the fence, pick up a Deluxe and maybe a couple of the Titan Master figures to see what you like. Like I said, I think the Titan Master figures thus far are really the ones that are scratching my itch on this line. I think in terms of hand feel and overall fun, these are a little more enjoyable. As you can see, with the whole interactivity with the base. So yeah, that's about that. So for Klauber, Braun, 8-Face, and Skye Tread, we will see you next time.